Hey guys, Pisces Mike here again. Today we're going to be replacing the battery terminal, the negative post in this case, on my battery. As you can see, I've already replaced the positive, so we're just going to be doing this nasty one over here. Anyway, here's the tools I've got. We have a 1/2 inch socket, if you can see that. 1/2 inch, it's a 1/4 inch adapter. We also have a 1/4 inch that is 11 millimeters. Anyway, that's 11 millimeters. We've got the new terminal that we're going to be putting on. Then we have a ratchet and extension. And then to get the terminal off of the battery, I've just got a nice big screwdriver and a hammer. The hammer is going to be used to put things back on. Might sound a little strange, but it actually works pretty good. And the most important tool of all when doing car work is, of course, your selection of beer. That's mine, Bud Light Platinum. Anyway, going to take a short break while I get things prepared and ready to go. As always, whenever you're doing work on your car, I suggest to remove the positive from the battery to make sure you don't have any shorts or anything while you're working on the electrical components. Anyway, be back in a few minutes. So we've got that off and we'll go to replace the negative terminal. Okay, we're back again. As you can see, I've taken the positive terminal off there. Like I said, that's always the first step whenever you do anything. I don't know if you can see from this camera, but down here, the wire is actually corroded. It's a braided copper, and well, it's not necessarily so corroded. There is some corrosion, but basically over time, the battery, at least this one, wiggles back and forth, and it's just kind of frayed it and broke the wires. So the purpose of changing out this terminal is to get more conduction back to the ground. That'll help with the alternator charging the battery and whatnot. Obviously, if you don't have good connections, then the whole electrical system will not work very efficiently. So we're going to start by loosening up this bolt here, which clamps everything together. For this one, we're going to be using the 1/2 inch socket and the ratchet. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, that was pretty easy. A little bit more. Okay, that's good and loosened up. Now these things are usually wedged on there pretty good, so this is where the screwdriver comes in. We're going to go in here and gently pry it apart just a little bit. See how easy that was? I already started moving, so we can probably just wiggle it back and forth a little bit and pop that sucker right off. Okay, we're done with that part. Like I said, always whenever you're doing work on your car, you want to disconnect all the power like we already have. To be extra super safe, I'm taking the battery out of the car and sitting it on the ground. Uh, I've had a couple of instances where I've been working on the car in the past and I haven't done this, and shorts do happen. You could get electrocuted pretty easily. So anyway, taking it out, sitting it on the ground. Alrighty, now we've got to get this sucker all apart so that we can install the new one. For this, we're going to be switching from the 1/2 inch to the 11 millimeter, and loosen these up. Sometimes they're a little bit tough. You might find that you want to loosen these up before you take it off the post. I always take it off first. I don't know, I'm a weirdo. So anyway, loosen up the two screws on the top. You don't have to take it all the way off because we're trashing this one. Bam, pull it apart. Done with removing it. I always like to inspect these wires to make sure they're in decent condition. These, sorry to say, look pretty horrible. See how the wires have fallen off there from being frayed, both of them. Uh, that's not really very good. Um, they're also kind of crumbly, like I said, due to the corrosion. I'm going to take a short break here and try to clean these up a little bit. The best thing to do, if you can, if you see all this powder on my finger here, that's actually acid from the battery. It gets oxidized and it turns into a powder. So when you hit this with water, it's going to start burning your fingers like hell. Fortunately, it's not too toxic, so we're just going to go clean this off for a minute, and we'll be back once they're in better shape to be put into the new terminal. Hey guys, once again it's Pisces Mike. Um, After looking at this battery cable and a few hours have passed, I've decided that instead of putting it straight on there, we're going to kind of recondition the connections. These wires are so frayed and kind of corroded that they're just not going to make a good connection. So I went and got a couple more tools. Got a large cutter type thing and then a smaller one. Basically, I'm going to cut the ends off, and then we're going to use a razor knife to splice the wire down a little bit, so that we can have brand new wire on the connection. It's the best thing to do. So here we go. Cut off the first bit of wire. I'll hold my hand there so I can catch the shavings when they come off. I have to give a little bit of Okay, so there, we got all of them off. I caught as much of the waste as I could. I'm going to throw that in the trash. Just make that a little more even there. Right. Actually, here, let's go ahead and do this one as well. Save me from having to make 2 trips to the garbage can. Whoa! Okay, so we cut off the wire there that was already frayed and pretty much useless. Before I strip these down to make the new connection, I'm actually go ahead and soak them in this. This is a shot glass, basically with vinegar. This will destroy all the oxidized battery acid that might still be hanging around. It's just a little cleaning step. So it's sit in there a couple seconds. Now we'll take the ever trusty razor knife. Man, these things kick ass. Woo! And we're just going to make a little slit down the side to be able to peel back the plastic covering. Yeah, you can see there's still some of that corrosion up even that far into the wire housing. By the way, don't ever do this. I'm cutting towards myself with a razor. It's absolutely horrible. Okay, look, we got good clean copper down there near the bottom. The top still has a little corrosion on it, so we're going to go ahead and put it in the vinegar solution again. Ideally, we would take a toothbrush and kind of scrub the wire a little bit as we're going around. Fortunately, I left my toolbox toothbrush in the house, it looks like. So, let's do that for a minute. I'll just kind of wipe it off. So, yeah, it's already looking a little better. So, if you notice, these new wires are very strong. They're not frayed, they're not bent in any horrible way. It's a good solid electrical connection, basically. And that's what we're looking for in any type of battery situation. So, we're gonna do the same process on this other cable. can kind of feel how thick the wire is if you're going around with the razor knife. And again, don't ever do this. I'm a dumbass. I'm the drunk car repair guy. But you can kind of feel how deep the wire is in there, and if you slice the protective plastic around it, you can get it off without damaging the actual wire on the inside, which is what we're looking for. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Still need a little bit more cutting on this side, just as deep as the wire is. See, it's already cleanly separated around there. It's a little hard to pull off, so we're going to use our cutting tool as a grabber. Just to kind of pull it off. It gives us a little more traction. There we go. Oh, look, that one looks pretty nice. So cut off all the frayed wire. Still nice and braided, good strong metal, not bent too much. We're going to go ahead and give this one a vinegar soak too. There is just the tiniest bit of the battery acid or corrosion on there. So let that soak in there for about 10 seconds. Work its way down in there real good. Alright. Once again, like I said, I would use a toothbrush for this, but I left it in the house, so just kind of wipe it off. And get some good, nice, glistening metal there. It's going to make a great connection when we put everything together. Should work a lot better for the car. Okay, we're going to take a short break, and then I'll be right back to finish off adding the actual terminal to it. It's just going to be real simple. Both of the wires that we've now fixed and made good connections for will go up in there, and we'll bolt everything together, and she should be good to go. Hey guys, Pisces Mites here again. We're going to finish putting this battery terminal on the wires that we've already stripped down and got cleaned. First thing I'm going to do is take and rotate these nuts out a little bit, just so that we can get the maximum space down in there. One of the things that I did on this cable, which was a mistake, is that I didn't put the wires actually inside of the connection. And as your car's going down the road, it's going to jiggle back and forth, just like we were talking about where these were frayed down and worn. Same thing will happen. So for this one, I'm going to try to get as much of the plastic casing on the wire as possible into the connector. That way it will help give it a little extra shock absorption, a little protection from fraying around. Alright, so here we go. Stick that one up in there until it's got a little bit of the cable. Same thing for this one. Get it up in there. Ooh, look how much that overlaps. That's okay though. That'll be okay. So we got it in there. I'm going to tighten them down just a little bit. Basically, we just hand tighten them to hold it into place until we put the ratchet on it. So we're tightening. Just tighten these down just a little bit tighter than hand tight. Not much. Woo! Yeah, that was too much. Okay, so now that's all good and connected. We'll get ready to put the battery back in a few minutes, but before then I actually have a job of replacing the thermostat. So this is just replacing the connection. We'll show how to hook the battery back up here in a few minutes when we do the thermostat video. Anyway, that's how you replace the connector.